Realtor. On today's episode, we are going to talk to a home inspector, not just any home inspector, though. He owns Alpha Home Inspections. I have the one, the only Ivan J. Miranda on the podcast. Hey, Ivan, how you doing?
Hey Tony, thanks for having me, man. I'm doing well. How are you?
Very cool. I'm doing good. We had an interesting conversation a little while ago, and it was regarding the pre-sale home inspection. So people probably already saw the video on your home inspection. So someone buys a house, they get under contract, and then you immediately need to do a home inspection. They call you guys, right? But what we talked about was the new trend of actually getting on a home inspection before you actually even put your house up on the market. Now, I am going to touch base on that a little bit, and then we'll go into what it actually is from your perspective, what you do, what you check out. But as far as I'm concerned, okay, I think what sellers should do is call a company like Ivan, okay, Alpha Home Inspections, before they even list a property on the market. Because here's what happens at the end of the day, right? I have to sell the house, and you, as a homeowner, have to report everything that is wrong with the house on something called the residential property inspection report. So there's questions on there like, do you know if whether or not there's anything wrong with the walls? Is there anything wrong with the foundation? Are there any leaks? Is there any this? Is there any that? And if you miss something, even if it's not your fault and you miss it on accident, if the homeowner that buys the house didn't catch it and wants to sue you for it, it's a possibility that they can try to say that you were hiding it. Okay. Well, how do you get around that? Well, I say that you cut the legs out from under your enemy, and what you do is you do an inspection even before the house goes on the market. So, Ivan, what would a pre-sale home inspection look like for anybody in the market looking to do it?
Thanks, Tony. So a pre-sale home inspection would look exactly the same as a buyer inspection, except that the seller is the one that is requesting it. So the reason why they call it a pre-sale or a pre-listing inspection is because you're going to do it before you put the house on the market for a couple reasons. Number one, you want to get ahead of any issues that are going to come up during the transaction. So it's preparedness. Number two, awareness of how you can tackle these issues, or if you can, right? Because say we do a full pre-listing inspection before you put your house on the market. Now you're talking about we're going to give you a full report, right, with photos, and you're going to be able to identify exactly what you need to do for this house to quote unquote pass, because people call home inspections pass or fail, even though they're not. But now if you're doing a inspection before the buyer's inspection comes, you can set yourself up to pass that buyer's inspection when it's their turn to do so. And of course, it's going to depend on the seller and what they want to do with the information they get. There's a couple different avenues that they can take as well with that. You want me to go into that, or?
Yeah. Before you do go into that, I think it's necessary to point something out here. Now, this doing the pre-sale home inspection is a double-edged sword. Okay, and the reason it is because it's proof that you know exactly what is wrong with the property. Now, why do I say that's a double-edged sword? Some realtors will tell their clients, listen, before we even put your house on the market, don't tell me anything that's wrong with the property. Matter of fact, just take this residential property disclosure, fill it out, and whatever is on the sheet is what me and you know about. So here you go, for your protection, for my protection. Be honest, be forthcoming, and whatever's wrong with the property that you put on this sheet is all I know. That's the way that normally goes. So if you do this inspection with Ivan, you do a pre-sale home inspection, and all of a sudden he gives you this 60-page document that highlights every single little thing that's wrong with the house. Now you know, and you know officially because there's a document out there that shows proof that somebody came third party that was that no with no bias and went through your house with a fine tooth comb, and you now know about it. So it could a lot of agents can say, "Oh, that's a terrible idea. Why would you do that?" Here's why I think it's a good idea. Okay, and this feeds into the last thing you said. If you show them everything that's wrong with the property from the get-go and give them a copy, so house goes under contract, and now what the realtors think is now it's time to try to get the price down. And how do they do that? They pick apart the house per the home inspection, and they say, hey, now if the property isn't being sold as is, let's go ahead and figure out how we can kick this price down. We offered you 400, but you know what, I think we're about to find $25,000 worth of needed repairs. So now during the attorney review period, because we brought in a home inspector, we are now going to say, hey, here you go, we want a $25,000 deduction. Doing the home inspection ahead of time, showing that here's the inspection report that we had done before we put the house on the market, and here is a list of everything that we actually repaired. Here you go. And by the way, the price that you see the house listed for is keeping all of these issues that we found in mind, stopping you from being able to lower the price because this is what we're offering you. We know those issues exist. And based on the conversations we had with our realtor, this is comfortably what we feel an appraiser would say this house is worth without your home inspector coming in during the AI period and kicking the price down. That's kind of that's where we're at with that.
You're absolutely right, Tony, when you said that it's a double-edged sword, and those disclosures say it's more than just an ethical dilemma. It's a legal, from a legal standpoint, it's a legal implication. Now you're doing your pre-sale or your pre-listing inspection, and you're becoming aware of all these issues. So the home inspector's job, a lot of people think, is to just point out a bunch of issues and put it on a list. And for the most part, that's true. But in reality, what we like to say is our job is to inform our clients. So if we're informing you of the total condition of your house, of course, it's going to be more so focused on the negatives than on the positives. There is no such thing as a inspection report that focuses on the good things about your house. So you're going to receive the full document. Like you said, sometimes it's 60, sometimes it's 100 pages long. It depends on what your house looks like. But once you receive that document, you're going to have to comb through it. And we're happy to do that with you, right? Because as we cross off the issues, we realize we can start categorizing these into different priorities. So what do we focus on? Should we focus on the little issues, the low priority issues, and try to fix as many of those as we can so it looks like we've fixed as much as we could? Or are these high priority issues really gonna stop the deal, put hurdles in place, speed bumps to for the potential buyers to possibly even back out? Is it worth fixing those issues? Are there the means to fix those issues, right? The high priority ones. So that's the double-edged sword. But no matter what you choose to do with that report, at least you're being transparent. Yeah. So let's set the trend, because unfortunately in Illinois, I feel like there are two negotiations, right? Because when you're putting an offer to buy a house, you're basically negotiating in the beginning, saying, I'll give you this much. And then the seller rebuts to that, no, let's do this much. And you guys kind of agree on a middle point, right? That's the first negotiation. And then when the AI period, the attorney review period comes around, now there's a second negotiation because the home inspection took place, there were issues found, and any buyer is going to want to ask for either credits or repairs. So as a seller, you have the power to stop that second negotiation by getting your own home inspection first, putting all of that in front of the potential buyers before they even make an offer, and truly say, look, we're going to address this from the list, or look, you're going to take it as is because we already did the home inspection. Feel free to do your own buyer's inspection, but we already know what came up, and this is as is, right?
Yeah, it excuse me. Yeah, no, it definitely creates a different atmosphere than I think maybe what a lot of people in the market are used to, because 9.9 people out of 10 don't do the pre-sale home inspection because the idea is never really put out there. Up until recent, have we been having discussions of, hey, the pre-sale home inspection could probably work to the benefit for a lot of sellers, definitely a lot of sellers, especially during a time where um, some of the trend is get under contract, get on the AI period, and have your home inspector go in there and help drop the price. Like, some agents actually look at it as a tool to help their client come down on the price. You know what I mean? So being proactive and saying, "Hey, what is it exactly I need to fix in the house that's going to stop me from having to cough up so much cash?" A realtor can say, "Hey, go paint the wall this color, declutter, go this and go do that." Those are great to get people in the door, but what's going to stop the money from from the place from bleeding money is the pre-sale home inspection, in my opinion. And I'll give you a really good example, a really good story, Ivan. I haven't told you the story. Get a big kick out of it.
Mhm.
So I had a gentleman call me to sell his property. I show up to the house, and this was a situation where the man thought his property was worth like 375. And from me looking at it, I was looking at it and I was like, no, this place isn't 375. There's too much going on with it. It's worth probably like 325. Like, I think it's like 50 grand less because he has so many things wrong with the property he can't see. In my way walking towards the property, it was a rainy day. I can see how much water was collecting around the property. I could
At
see
first
like he had
glance.
a yeah, he had shingles like on the side of the house on the floor. There was cracked windows on the side of his property. When I walked in, I think he opened the door, and right behind where he had like the coat hanger had fell off before and cracked the drywall, and he put it back up just a little higher with new drywall screws. In his bathroom, like his bathroom faucet was the running water was slow. It was slow going down, like in the sink, the water was slow draining, and there was a ton of other things. I went in the basement. You could tell the furnace smelled like it was burning up, and there was just a lot of things. So I sat him down. I said, "Sir, so you mentioned that you think the property's worth 375. I'm going to tell you right now, I think that you're going to get beat up in the market, and I think right now is worth 325." He's like, "Man, there's no way my house is worth 325." I go, "Okay, so here's what I'm going to recommend. I recommend that you do yourself a pre-sale home inspection." And he goes, "Well, the buyers do the home inspection." I go, "Yeah, but if the buyers do the home inspection here, you're going to be in trouble. Like, it's going to end up being that they're going to want 300,000 for your house because of everything that was going on. There was more things, just that he couldn't see it. He just really couldn't see it."
That was
And
you just that was you just walking through the place. So at like I said, at first glance, huh?
yeah,
So imagine,
yeah, and I'm not even a home inspector. I mean, I'm just
yeah,
walking around and following you guys around. Like, when they do home inspections with my clients, I'm there watching. Most of the time, like, okay, this is. So I've seen you talk to clients about what's right, what looks good, what looks wrong. So ultimately, I'm sitting there telling this guy, like, "No, man, this is something's up," and I'm telling you, we should do a pre-sale home inspection. I already showed him comps, so was already able to get him to come down from 375 to like 360, but there was still a gap where I'm like, "Man, you're not worth three. It's not 360. It's not 360." Finally, he paid for a home inspector, pre-sale home inspection. Home inspector comes in, goes downstairs to the basement, comes up, and he goes, "Your foundation's giving." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "No, your foundation's giving. Come downstairs." So we go downstairs, and he goes, "Open this." There was a door it was a brick wall There was a door made of wood, or like a square piece made of wood, like kind of like it looked like a window, but we open it up and you could see the foundation going through past the wall. And when I looked inside with a flashlight, the inspector showing me, there was a car jack on top of bricks holding up the foundation on the other side of the wall.
Mm.
And he goes, "Oh, my son said he fixed the foundation because the floor started to dip upstairs in the living room. So him and his buddy came over and took care of it." He goes, "I had no idea that they took care of it like that." I'm like, "Yeah, man, you have a you have a car jack holding up your house right now over here." And luckily they had put two of them. The one that you turn that does that, and then that safety jack that you put underneath that, and then you put a bolt through it. Like, it was being held up by two car jacks. It was terrible. And he goes, "You know where this is coming from, sir?" He goes, "The way you have the water pitched outside, it's all coming to the house." And I'm looking at this man hey, listen, I didn't tell this guy nothing. Like, he's seeing this stuff for himself. The roof was more than 30 years old, original, like the original roof. Got a quote on the roof. The roof is like 25 grand. And it's just so much had happened. And it comes to find out that he was able to make a claim on the roof because the damage that had happened during a thunderstorm. And the roof was too old, but still the insurance company gave him a break and gave him a new roof. But then and only then, when he saw what was really going on, I said, "Listen, we can either list it for 325 and repair some of this stuff, or leave it alone and let somebody come in and prove to you with their inspector why it's worth only like 300,000." So what are we going to do here? What are we going to do here? And it ends up that he changed the price. He had to. He had to,
So,
with everything that we saw going on with the house. He had to change the price.
so it's the same outcome, just different times that you find that out. You could find it out in the beginning, or you could find it out
Yeah.
at the end, and then get bullied into lowering the price, right? So I
Yeah.
love the comparison that you made, how you guys suggest new paint colors and decluttering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Half the battle of selling these seller on a pre-listing inspection is going to be convincing them to shell out the cash, right? Because a home inspection will cost them about $500. And so what I've seen a lot of agents doing recently is actually paying it on behalf of their client. So the realtor will offer some kind of a listing package where it comes with photos and all kinds of, I don't know what else you guys do. Sorry, but one of
Yeah. Yeah.
one of those benefits of listing with this particular agent is going to be that they will offer the pre-listing inspection as part of that, because it's going to make their own job easier. So the sellers should realize that if it's making the agent's job easier to sell this house, it's a no-brainer. House is going to sell quicker. It's going to be less headaches. So really, yeah, it is something that we have to start talking about more.
I think so too, because you imagine what would have happened had we just listed the property without him realizing that that carjack was holding up the house, how he would have looked as an owner. "Hey, just so you know, sir, we're going to drop the price because we found your little secret." All of a sudden, it's like, "What secret?" "This form that you filled out saying that this is the proof of everything wrong with the property that you're reporting. We don't see the fact that there's a carjack underneath your house on this report at all. So
And
you were trying to hide it from us, sir." And now all of a sudden, "Oh, I had no idea."
yeah,
You can't, even if you didn't have an idea, the responsibility ultimately will rely on you if they wanted to push the issue with like an attorney. Think about it like this: it's very possible that the home inspector that they hired could have never went into that room and looked through that door and missed it totally. And then 6 months into it, the homeowner goes into it and goes, "Oh my God, there's a carjack holding up my foundation." And then all of a sudden, there's a court case. They go after the agents, both of them. They go after the owner, former owner. They go after the home inspector,
yeah,
and they'll even throw in the brokerage, and they'll throw in the lender about it, and it could be a thing.
everyone
It could be,
loses.
yeah, everyone loses, and then you have to prove that you didn't know about it. And how do you tell the judge, that, oh, I had no idea that my son put a car jack in the basement? It's like, well, wait a minute, what do you
Why,
mean? It's your house,
why
you
didn't you
know?
hire a professional to fix the foundation,
Yeah,
right?
why didn't you get a professional to do the foundation work? Yeah,
But
absolutely,
but,
absolutely.
but there's one more thing, Tony. Think
What
about
is it?
this. Most of the time, the seller doesn't see the buyer's home inspection report. So the attorney letter gets written, and the attorney
Yeah,
sends their letter to
that's a
the
great
list
point, man.
to the listing side. No photos, just text, just back and forth emails, right? So there's situations where we find big issues with property, and the seller calls us because we left a business card on their countertop, or they found our info online. Um, they call us and they say, what are you doing here? Like, why are you trying to kill my deal, right? And we
Yeah.
have to defend ourselves. Like, what do you mean the house killed itself? We didn't kill the deal. But they won't believe it, right? A lot of these people, the sellers, they take offense to others finding wrong in their house because they're attached to their house. They might have lived there for a while, uh, whatever the case might be. But that you know, a lot of times the sellers, they just don't believe it. So this is another way that they can be, again, informed, aware of their own property and what condition it's in.
Absolutely, man. You make a really good point. So to everyone watching right now, okay, like what Ivan mentioned, whenever these forms, whenever these reports get ordered by the buyers, and if the property is as is, then ultimately what ends up happening is that correspondence of the report goes to the buyer. Seller never sees it. Seller never sees it because they're told not to send a copy to the other side via the attorneys. Like, the attorneys will literally say, "Hey, don't send us a copy of it if we don't need it." It's like for protections back and forth. The only time a buyer will send over a copy of their inspection report to the seller is if, in fact, the property isn't being sold as is. If it's just an open sale to where they're going to negotiate repairs and repair costs and all that, then if you're asking for a credit of like $10,000 because the roof needs to get redone, the uh the attorney will say, "Hey, send us the page on the inspection report showing us how bad the roof situation is so that we can consider giving you a credit. Don't send us the whole report, just send us the page that says the roof is bad."
Oh, just to pay.
That's what happens. Yeah. Or if there is an onslaught, if a client's like, "No, I'm going to ask for $15,000 worth of repairs," which is wild, by the way. No one ever gets that unless like it's a dire situation. But then it's like, cool, show me $15,000 worth of repairs that you think need to get done. Then they'll send a summary report with pictures, and it'll be for specific pages that allude to what's going on via the summary report. So if it's a leaky faucet, if it's the garage is falling apart, pictures of the garage, if it's the roof, if it's windows that need recaulking, or if there's a hole in the wall in the basement that they want filled, or if there's termite damage, show us photos of termite damage and send us that data. But unless the seller's attorney is like, "No, for all this stuff that we're asking for, send us the entire report," the seller side normally never gets the entire report. It's like it's not a thing. It's not a thing. They try to avoid it at all costs, believe it or not.
Yeah,
So
and don't just take anyone's word for it either, as a seller or as a listing attorney or as a listing agent, right? Because there are plenty of buyers that are out here as well, walking through the property with contractors, and their general contractor will provide estimates, sometimes in written form, and they will try to play that off as a home inspection report, right? But licenses should be verified because it's a licensed profession to be an inspector. And in a real estate transaction, everything has to be within that realm of the real estate professional industry, right?
absolutely everything has to be by the book, so to speak, right? Everything has to be on the up and up.
Yeah. And again, just because we're going to point out a bunch of issues with the seller's house doesn't mean we're not on their side or on their side. As home inspectors, we are totally unbiased, and that is what makes us special. Because think about this, a contractor is biased in the sense where the contractor is going to want to make money. That's how they eat, right?
Yeah.
The more they can bid on that job, the more they take home. And
Yeah, and
we
this
don't.
yeah, and this pre-sale home inspection can happen whether or not the property that's being inspected is a new construction, whether it's a rehab or a house that's been sitting around with barely any updates over the last, 60, 70 years. No matter what kind of property it is, period, you can do an inspection. And I think it's still worth its weight in gold to do a home inspection because it'll open up your eyes as a seller to like what's really going on. And it'll give you a really good idea of what they are going to try to negotiate during the attorney review once your property actually gets under contract. And from just in the essence of wanting to get the house ready to sell, besides just decluttering and repainting, taking care of little things that your potential buyer could find as annoying. I've had buyers tell me, "Oh, I have to recaulk. Oh, wait, look at this. I don't want to. You know what? This looks like a real fixer upper. I don't want to have to take. I don't want to have to do any of this. Let's go look at the next house." And in
Right.
some situations, I'm sitting there scratching my head, going, "This is just regular maintenance.
Yeah.
This is like, like when your car gets dirty, you got to wash your car." And they're saying that they won't buy the car because they don't want to have to take out a hose and wash the car down, put a little soap on it. It's not a rehab. Like there's no reconstruction. Sometimes people walk away from houses just because of the easiest maintenance that the seller should take care of. And sometimes people just can't see it because they're desensitized to it. They lived in the house for so long,
Yeah.
they don't think there's anything wrong with the house. And then
Yeah.
here comes
And
another set of eyes, and everything's wrong. You know?
this is exactly what I was talking to about. This is exactly what I was talking about with one of my clients earlier. Is like, what is move-in ready? If somebody is living in the property, if there's a full family living in the property, that might make the property move-in ready, even if it's a fixer-upper, right? So don't sweat too much on the cosmetic issues. I I love the point that you made, Tony. I feel like anyone on any side of the transaction can make good use of a home inspection, simply for the fact, again, to be informed. There's a lot of buyers that bought new construction houses during the COVID era where they simply waived the inspection. Maybe they were coerced by the agent, maybe they were coerced by the builder, like, no, it's brand new, you don't need one. Now, guess what? They don't know anything about their house unless the builder did some kind of a walkthrough with them. Um, and then there's the other hand of that, people that have been living in their house for 50 years. Even if they did get a home inspection, that was 50 years ago. Home inspections were so much more different 50 years ago than they are today. And you will be surprised how much you learn from a home inspection.
Oh yeah, codes change, expectations change. You know, new product to fix the property comes out, and if you weren't up to updating the property, or if even the former owner wasn't up to like making things newer in the property with newer materials, almost like how you find asbestos tile in a property. I mean, things are always changing.
Mhm.
So those old home inspections, they probably were like, "Oh, asbestos tile," which they didn't call back in the day.
Top of the
They're like,
line.
"Oh, top of the line right here, right? Like, guys, we're looking at the future here with this tile." It's like, okay, future asbestos claims. People don't know that even roofs. Some people find out that the shingles on the roof contain asbestos.
Mhm.
And during back in the day, it was top of the line.
Hey,
But now here comes
those
Ivan. Uh,
uh,
we might have a problem here.
hey, those were
We
some
might
good
have an issue.
shingles though. For them to last 50 years like that, asbestos was a great material at some point.
At some point, it was yeah, it was the hero of shingles. It's wild. Oh man. Oh man. Well, Ivan, I think this is probably a good time to just to kind of wrap it up with everybody. So, pre-sale home inspections are rare. People don't do them, okay? Because they feel that they would be putting themselves out in the open for liability. But the only reason why they feel that is because they don't want it. They're told not to take responsibility for the condition of their property. I have the notion to say, do the home inspection so that you could see what's what. And then, if in fact the house goes for sale and you fix some of the items, now you have a way to combat people trying to drop your price. You could save a little bit more money, maybe even raise the price of your home based on the fact that you repaired so much. Now it's even worth a little bit more if that's the way that works out. And if someone tries to say, hey, listen, we want you to come down on your price because of X, Y, and Z, you can say, oh, by the way, I actually did a home inspection and I know what's going on. So nice try. Tell your client to either take it or leave it. You
Nice.
know, because it's you protected yourself, right? Any last words, Mister Ivan?
This is awesome information, Tony. Thank you so much for the platform that you're giving to real estate professionals. I just wanted to say, if anyone has any questions about home inspections, it doesn't matter if you're going to hire us in the future or uh, you feel free to reach out about anything. We do it all. We do radon, we do mold, we do air quality, we do sewer scopes. So it doesn't have to be a full home inspection. We'll definitely help you with anything that you might be concerned about going on in your home or that you're curious about. Like if you've never heard of radon, we're your favorite company to come to.
Absolutely, man. You guys do regular home inspections, pre-sale home inspections. You test for for lead. You do termite inspections. You do sewer scoping. Am I right?
That's right.
Is there anything else that I missed?
Um, Termite, mold, air quality, sewer, and radon.
Yeah, air quality and mold. That's
Commercial,
amazing, man.
we do commercial as well. Yeah,
Commercial.
air quality.
How can people? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, air quality is, I would say, is pretty important for people that have like allergies and stuff like that. So definitely some
Okay.
awareness around that as well. But yeah, if anyone wants to reach me, Alpha Home Inspections, you can follow us on social media at Inspect with Alpha or call us. Company phone number is 630-340-7723. If you call that phone number, you will reach me directly, 630-340-7723. Thanks again, Tony.
No, no worries, you guys. And then just for everyone who's watching right now, if you want to go to my profile, or actually first subscribe, please like, subscribe, drop a
Yeah.
comment, letting us know what you thought about what we said about the pre-sale home inspection. But if you go to the link in my bio, if you're on YouTube, go to the main channel page and click the link. You can schedule a consultation, a one-on-one with me to sell your property if you need it to sell or buy. And then if you wanted had any questions about the selling process or the buying process, we can just talk about those questions, talk them through. But also there are 3 pages there, 3 ebooks that you could download right now. 2 of them are on buying houses for the first time, buying with down payment assistance programs, buying with what is that, with your income tax return, and the third one is how to prep your house for sale in 2026. I will be including a page in that of Alpha Home Inspections with their contact information soon. So if you want to go download it now. They won't be there, but of course, their information is going to be in the video. But in the future, you will see that on my page because I think it's important that you guys are introduced to the real ones, the ones that have the most reviews in the history of Illinois. By the way, you guys have the greatest amount of reviews on Google reviews, man. Congratulations for that. But
Yeah.
um,
Thanks, man.
I'm at 708-205-7121. And Ivan, we already got your information, man. But I appreciate you doing doing the podcast, man.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much, guys. That was Antonio the Realtor, and we'll see you in the next video.